Are you considering moving to the Sugar Land area? If so, you have to watch this video as I'm going to cover the top 10 most popular and best neighborhoods that people are relocating to right now. So if that's of interest to you, then stick around. Howdy friend, my name is Paul Holub. I'm a local real estate agent and broker for Traditions Realty and I help people relocate to Houston and Sugar Land all the time. So if you think about buying a home here in Sugar Land, you can call, text, or my website in the description below. Next, please subscribe. I'm on a mission to document all the most popular areas of Houston so that you can come to my channel and check out some great information of learning more about the area, see if Sugar Land's a good fit for you, or maybe the Woodlands, or even Bel Air, or even the Heights, and see great areas of Houston that you get to learn more about and see if it's a good fit for you and your personality and lifestyle. So that's my goal. Please subscribe as I work through that, detailed videos one at a time. All right, so next, if you haven't checked out this video above, everything you need to know about Sugar Land, be sure to watch that first. Let's give you some context of where Sugar Land is, the school districts, the boundaries, the different areas around Sugar Land. That's really a good starting spot. And then come back and watch this. I'm gonna have maps of where the neighborhoods are, but it's really good just kind of get a greater perspective of where these homes and neighborhoods fit together. And finally, before we get started, be sure to check out the description below because I have links to homes that are active in each of these neighborhoods. So if you say, hey, I really like number 6, go ahead, go to the description, click on the link, and boom, you have all the active homes in that neighborhood. You see pricing, availability, styles, finishes, everything in between. And you have peace of mind knowing that it's not my website or some goofy website. It's har.com, Houston Association of Realtors, and that's the best website to find homes in the Houston area. So with that, let's get started with the number 10 neighborhood, and that's Imperial. Imperial is a wonderful neighborhood. It's actually in the city of Sugar Land, and I really like the location. It's right on Highway 90 and Highway 6. So it's right next to Constellation Field, which is the Astros affiliate, plays there, the Space Cowboys. There's also the Sugar Land Regional Airport right across the way. And it has just great location, hopping on Highway 90 to get to I-69 to head into work or downtown, Med Center, whatever. So location is awesome, lots of shopping and restaurants around the area. And they're also building a little brewery, some other shopping. So just a lot of great things about the neighborhood. Okay, so land was previously owned by Imperial Sugar Mill. That's why they named the neighborhood Imperial. But the mill is just right, around the corner, so it's very close. And at some point, they're going to redo it. They've talked about it for years. They haven't really done a whole lot, but that'll be kind of a cool mixed-use shopping and events and farmers market and other fun things there to do. So yeah, lots of great things going on. So the community itself is only 720 acres. It has just over 500 homes in it. So it's not a massive community, but the homes are more recently built as far as homes go in Sugar Land. They started building in 2014 and they're just finishing up all the building here in 2023. So some of the great things about the neighborhood is that, again, newer houses. A lot of these homes are larger, 3,000 square feet or more, and they do have many luxury homes, 4,000 square feet or more, with slate tile roofs, custom finishes. They have obviously custom builders that built it. So there's just a lot of great things going on with the neighborhood. So some of the great positives of the neighborhood, again, these homes are newer, so you'll have more of the open floor plans, modern amenities. Again, you'll have a lot of options for some luxury homes as well as some entry-level homes. So a little bit of everything. The other thing, obviously, the location is great. Shopping, amenities, have tons of walking trails, lakes, pools, and so forth. So there's a lot of great positives with the neighborhood. So some of the challenges with the neighborhood is that there's just not a ton of homes available in there. I mean, just with 500 homes, there's just, not a ton of homes available for sale at any one time. The other thing is that schools are good, but they're not the highest rated, like some of these other neighborhoods that I'm gonna talk about. So Lakeview Elementary is rated an A, but Sugar Land Middle School and Kempner High School are rated Bs. They're good schools, but again, they're just not as highly rated as some of the other neighborhoods we'll discuss later. There's no flooding from Harvey in 2017, but it is protected by the levee and it's in a 500-year floodplain for most of the neighborhood. And taxes are currently 3.1%, so a little bit higher. So coming in number 10 is Imperial. It's a great neighborhood, lots of friends and clients in the neighborhood, so I definitely think you will like it if you're looking for something a bit newer. All right, next neighborhood coming in at number 9 is Sweetwater. Sweetwater is one of the original luxury neighborhoods in Sugar Land. They do have kind of a mid-level to lower end luxury, but then they just have these beautiful luxury estates, 10,000 square feet or more on acre, 2 acre lots. They're absolutely beautiful. So they have a wide range, but for the most part, many of these homes will be at the higher price ranges. So Sweetwater has its own country club with golf course and all the amenities that come with the country club, but it also has access to the First Colony amenities. So it's an additional cost, but they are allowed access to the First Colony pools and parks and splash pads and tennis courts and everything in between. So it just provides even more amenities for the residents. So Sweetwater is zoned to some top-rated elementary schools. Settlers Way Elementary is rated an A, Colony Bend is rated a B, and then First Colony Middle School and Clements High School are both A-rated. Now there are a few houses that are zoned to Commonwealth Elementary and Fort Settlement Middle School, and those are both A-rated as well. So that's one of the great things, is that just all these homes are zoned to some really great schools. And just like most of Sugar Land, it's in the 500-year levee-protected floodplain. No flooding from Harvey as far as I'm aware of. Most of the taxes range from 2% to about 2.3%, depending on what section you're in. The next top neighborhood coming in at number 8 is Avalon. So Avalon has about 750 homes total, and they were built from 1997 through 2008. The great thing about Avalon is, one, it's master plan community, but it has just a ton of lakes. So whether you're in Avalon Estates, which is more of the luxury section, or just regular Avalon, you'll have lots of lake access, and many of the homes are right on the lake. Amenities include pool, playground, walking trails, and it also has great access to I-69. If you're looking for brand new houses, this may not have what you're looking for. Again, these are just a little bit older, so that's one of the downsides. And also the other downside is that many of the homes are built with a stucco exterior. I like the look of stucco. It's beautiful, has a great look. But stucco is a great product for drier climates such as in Arizona, New Mexico, and California. Here in Houston, we obviously have a very wet, very humid climate, so it's not a great product for our weather. And so I think we'll have more maintenance, the cost of painting it more regularly, the maintenance, it just an additional hassle that you have to commit to doing. Otherwise, if you neglect it, you could have major issues. You know, when water gets behind the stucco and starts to rot out some of the structure because it doesn't necessarily have a place to escape to, you can be looking at thousands of dollars in potential repairs. So not all the homes have stucco exteriors, but a good amount of them do. So just keep that in mind if you do want to look at homes with stucco exteriors. One of the great things about living in Avalon is that these schools are highly rated. Commonwealth Elementary, Fort Settlement Middle School, and Clements High School are all A-rated schools. Finally, taxes are rather low, around 2.15% currently. So that's number 8, Avalon, great neighborhood. Now moving on to number 7, that leads us to Sugar Lakes. Sugar Lakes is a smaller community as well, with about 600 homes in total. The homes were built from the 80s through the 90s, so the homes are slightly older, but just like Avalon, there's a ton of lakes throughout. So again, you can have a home right on the water with a little dock and paddle boats or canoe or paddle boarding, whatever you board on now. The other great thing about the neighborhood is that it's just a great location. It's right between Highway 90 and I-69, so you can hop on and get to wherever you need to go rather quickly versus being all the way on the southwestern part of Sugar Land. It's definitely a little bit shorter commute for you if you're going to downtown Galleria or Med Center. So I do like the 80s style homes. I mean, a lot of them have more unique floor plans and obviously mature trees on the sidewalk and in their yard. And so that is great. I honestly really like the homes that were built in the 90s. They just have a neat exterior charm to them. They're also a little bit different, so they're not just straight cookie cutter. So it has kind of a neat feel to the neighborhood, depending on what section you end up purchasing in. So the challenges of the neighborhood, obviously some of these homes are older, so they need older home love, you know, just taking care of the plumbing, electrical, foundation, those kinds of things, roof. But then also too, because of location, have more cut through, so have a little bit more traffic, and then just a little bit of road noise. It's nothing you can't handle, but just something to kind of be aware of when you buy into the neighborhood. All right, let's talk about schools. Highly Highland Elementary is an A-rated elementary school, but then it's zoned to Dulles Middle School and Dulles High School. So those are B-rated. So they're really good schools, but they're just not as highly rated as some of these other schools. The other thing I thought was interesting is that it isn't in a 100 or 500 year flood zone, and they didn't really have any flooding from Hurricane Harvey in 2017, even though they have obviously all the lakes everywhere and it's surrounded by Oyster Creek. That's good to know that it's not a big risk for flooding. Obviously, I'm going to recommend anytime you buy a home in the Houston area in Sugar Land that you get flood insurance. It's rather affordable, $500-600 a year, just for some peace of mind. The other great thing is that tax rates in the area are around 2%. So definitely check out Sugar Lakes. Now coming in at number 6 is another little bit older community, but it's a little bit larger in scale and has some wonderful homes, and that is New Territory. So New Territory is in a great location. It's a little further south than Sugar Lakes and Southwest, but it's right between Highway 90 and I-69, right off Grand Parkway or I-99. So it does have great access to the highways. It is a master plan community. They have just over 3,200 acres and in total of just over 4,600 homes. So a good amount of homes to select from depending on your style and price range. Some of the great positives to the community is that it just has a ton of amenities. Obviously this is master plan community, so you'll have a clubhouse and lake and pool, and in the clubhouse you have a workout facility, you have 8 different tennis courts, you'll have a tennis pro shop in the clubhouse, and a variety of different amenities to really enjoy. But with that comes a higher HOA. Currently it's just over $1,100 annually, so it's pretty standard for some of the larger master plan communities in the area, but definitely something to budget for. Another challenge with the community is that for some reason they have inspections from the HOA when you go to buy and sell a home. Now that's not super common for homeowners associations to do, but with New Territory you have to. So they'll have someone come out and check the exterior, front and back of your home to make sure it's in compliance with the rules, bylaws, and so forth. So it's good because it obviously keeps the neighborhood nice, but it is a bit of a hassle when you have to go to sell your house and you have to fight through not only trying to get your home sold and make that process as smooth as possible, but then you have to work with the HOA to fix certain items, and it can be a little bit of a challenge sometimes. New Territory is zoned to some highly rated schools. Brazos Bend Elementary, Sataria Middle School, and Travis High School are all A-rated schools. There really wasn't any flooding from Hurricane Harvey in 2017 in New Territory. And also the tax rate runs between 2.3 to 2.5%. Coming in at number 5 is Greatwood. Now Greatwood is a wonderful community. I like it a lot. It has a nice close-knit feel to it. It's a little bit larger, 1,700 acres, about 3,000 homes in the community, and it was rated the best neighborhood to live in according to niche.com a few years back. So needless to say, it is a great community to live in. Now the houses range from 1989 through 2007, so it's quite a wide range. However, if you are looking for new homes, they have Greatwood Lakes, which it's actually a separate neighborhood, but it's right next to Greatwood. And those homes were built from 2016 through 2023. So if you like the location, then definitely check those out. It does have a different elementary school, but the middle school and high school are the same. Okay, so some of the pros of the neighborhood is that the location is wonderful, right on I-69 and Highway 99. It's just easy to get on and off the highways and get to wherever you need to go. There's tons of shopping right around the corner, so that the location is just wonderful. The other thing too is that there are plenty of amenities in the community, parks, walking trails, pools, you name it, they have it all. And in addition to that, they also have a golf course in the neighborhood. So if you're a fan of golf or if you've heard of golf, there's beautiful scenes of the golf course in the back, and obviously houses right along the golf course. So definitely a plus. I also love the floor plans. I think a lot of them, particularly, I'm a big fan of the homes from the late 80s, early 90s, just because you start to see some higher ceilings, a little more open floor plans, They'll still have many times have the front living room, formal and formal dining room, which one you can always turn into a study. We're starting to see some of those floor plans kind of morph into more of an open style, which we tend to prefer nowadays. On the flip side of that, you'll see older houses, and these older houses need a few updates and a little love. Overall, that just kind of comes with the territory of owning a little bit older house. The area is in a 500-year floodplain, which is levee protected, as in most of the Sugar Land. And as far as I know, only a couple houses did flood during Hurricane Harvey in 2017. But Brazos River is right there, so I think it's always a good idea to have some flood insurance. And tax rates range between about 2.2 to 2.3% currently. But if you end up buying in Greatwood Lakes, it's around 3.2, 3.3%. So keep that in mind. Okay, so that's Greatwood at number 5. But let's move on to a massive community here at number 4, and that's Siena. Siena is wonderful. I love Siena, and I keep saying this again, I love these neighborhoods, but particularly Siena because it is just so huge. You have just so many options. It's made up of over 11,000 acres. So it's just a massive master plan community. And if you are interested in a brand new house, you're in luck because here at the end of 2023, they're still building Siena and should have a couple more years to finish building out. So if you've always dreamed of a brand new house, a beautiful home, then definitely check out Siena. So the homes range from 1997 through 2023 here and beyond. And then also you have pretty much every price range you can think of, from that entry-level 200s house to the multi-million-dollar custom luxury home. So that's the nice thing about Siena. You have pretty much everything, so if you're interested in a master plan community, something a little bit newer, of any price range, there's a good chance you'll be able to find something out there. So I'm gonna get into the Siena, but not as extensively as I did in this video above. All the great neighborhoods with brand new homes out in Sugar Land, so definitely check that out after this video. So the amenities in Siena are top-notch. I talked about them extensively in that other video, but real quick, they do have splash pads and all the pools, walking trails, lakes, and they even have their own stables. It's pretty crazy. But because of all these great amenities and the master planned community, the HOA fees are rather high, so definitely keep that in mind and check out that other video to learn a little bit more about those. So the schools in Siena are top-notch. Again, it's Fort Bend Independent School District. You see all these great elementaries here are A+ rated currently, and then the high school, Ridgepoint High School, is A rated, and then Almeda Crawford is brand new high school as of this year. So they don't quite have a rating yet, but I do think they'll be A-rated here soon. So great schools out in Siena. The other big challenge with Siena is just the location. Again, it's far south of Sugar Land in Missouri City, and so it's gonna take a little bit of a while for you to get to Siena. Thankfully, they opened up the Fort Bend County Toll Road, and so it's like a straight shot from Beltway 8 to the tollway right into Siena, which is gonna cut down on your commute, which I like a lot. But if you do live on the furthest southern part of Siena, it's gonna take you a while to get there and get into town if you have to commute every day or a couple days a week. So definitely check out your drive times if you are a commuter. Tax rates range from 2.1 to 3.5%, so quite a wide range. If you live in the older section of Siena, obviously you're gonna have a lower tax rate versus the newer areas where they don't quite have the same tax base and they're putting in all the utilities. So just think about if you're buying a new house, you're gonna have a higher tax rate. So that's number 4, Siena. All right, moving on from number 4, Siena, to number 3, and that's the OG of neighborhoods in Sugar Land, which is First Colony. So one of the great things of First Colony is it just has a ton of amenities. There's over 10 different community pools. One includes an Olympic-sized pool, parks, and things to do, lakes, walking trails, all the great things that you can think of for the amenities for a master plan community. But it is an older community. Many of the homes, particularly further east you go, closer into Houston, will be the older houses, and those were built 70s and 80s. And as you go further west, they go all the way up into about the mid-2000s. And so you have quite a wide variety of home styles and price ranges. So schools are a little tricky. A general rule of thumb, it's not always true, but if you're staying east and north of Highway 6 and south of I-69, this area right here is where you'll see a lot of good schools, but they tend to be rated as a B. And the high school here, for the most part, is Zone 2, is Dulles High School. Now, when you go across Highway 6 and further south of I-69, that's Clemens High School, and it has some highly rated elementary elementary and middle schools, as you can see here on the screen. And so you'll see some different price points. The homes, obviously, that are zoned to Clements tend to be priced a little bit higher, not always, but they tend to have some higher prices versus those zoned to Dulles. There are some beautiful homes in that section of First Colony. So again, it's more desirable to be zoned to Clements, so people will pay more money for these homes. So these, again, tend to be a little bit more expensive on that western side. Some of the challenges with First Colony is that the homes are a little bit older. You know, many of them were built in the 70s, 80s, so you'll see some older style homes that will need some work, particularly some foundation work, new roofs, you know, general maintenance and repair for an older house. It's not the end of the world, but just something to be aware of when you're going into it. Another thing too is that some sections of First Colony did flood pretty hard during 2017 Hurricane Harvey. Settlers Park and Chimney Stone got hit pretty hard from Hurricane Harvey. There's a good amount of houses that did flood. Not all of them, but many of them did. So be sure to check the seller's disclosure, because they have to disclose if it flooded previously, as well as the flood maps, kind of get a better idea of where the flood prone areas are. So hopefully that was like a once in a 500-year event and we never see that again in our lifetimes, but it's always good to protect yourself. The taxes are extremely low, between 2% and 2.2%, so big plus there. Okay, so that's it for First Colony, coming in at number 3. Next at number 2 is Telfair. So if you're like, hey, I like First Colony, but I wish there was something a little bit newer in the area, well then Telfair is probably a good option for you. Now, it's not brand new. There's no new homes like Imperial or Sienna, but the homes were built from 2007 through about 2015 or so. So you will have, you know, a little bit more open floor plans, a little more modern style and finishes, and obviously some people will have updated them since then, but that is a good option if you want to keep the great schools but have, again, the newer houses. Telfair is a master plan community. It consists of about 2,000 acres and over 4,000 homes. So there is a good amount of inventory to select from. And it has 70 acres worth of lakes. So tons of walking trails around those lakes. So location, as I mentioned, is wonderful. Almost all of the community of Telfair is just on the north side of I-69, but there is like one little section just on the south side. It's kind of forgotten about, but it still is Telfair. Now the land is really interesting because it was previously owned by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there is a big prison further north and west of Telfair, and I used to own much of the land that is now kind of that northern Sugar Land, Richmond area. But over time, they've ended up selling lots here and there, and so now pretty much all these communities are just kind of butting up right against the prison. Now they're not that close here at Telfair, but it's kind of good to know. So don't pick up any hitchhikers when you're in the area. No, literally, there's signs that say don't pick up hitchhikers. Anyway, so Newland Communities bought it from the state and they developed it out, which is now Telfair, but it has a ton of great builders that I love. If you've watched my channel, you know. So some of these great builders are David Weekley, Taylor Morrison, Chesmar Homes, Perry, Village Builders, and a couple more. So they have just a lot of great builders that built some awesome houses, which is why I like Telfair and have rated it as high on my list, because you have an option of having some great houses that are not that old. There's a couple other positives for the neighborhood. It's a very diverse community. There is a Costco right around the corner, which is always a win, except for my pocketbook. Also within the areas, there's tons of walking trails around these 70 acres worth of lakes, but they will leave some areas, you know, natural. And so you will see Indian paintbrushes and bluebonnets pop up in the spring. And many times we will go and take photos there as a family. And so you don't have to head all the way out to the country and get some great pictures. It's just right there in the community, which I think is pretty cool. The schools in Telfair are highly rated. You can see the A+ elementary schools here on the screen, and then you have Fort Settlement and Sartaria Middle School. They're both A rated as well, and everybody is currently zoned to Clements High School. That's a peace of mind with Telfair. You know that you're gonna have some really highly rated, top-notch schools. No flooding from Hurricane Harvey, but they are in a 500-year floodplain, levee protected, and the HOA fees around $800, and the tax rates are around 3%. All right, so that's it for number 2, Telfair. Moving on to the number 1 community in Sugar Land that you definitely need to consider, and that's Riverstone. One of the best things about Riverstone, it has a style of home for pretty much everybody. So it's gonna have your traditional single family homes, but it's also gonna have townhomes and patio homes, also have your production homes, your mid-level, and also your upper end luxury style houses. So it has pretty much something for everybody. Riverstone sits on just over 3,800 acres and consists of over 6,400 homes. So there's a lot of housing to select from. Some of the other positives to Riverstone is the location. Now it is not right off I-69, but it has decent access to it, whether you're going on Highway 6 or if you're going on University Boulevard or kind of meandering your way back through some back roads. You can get to Riverstone quite easily, but it is not quite accessible as if you were First Colony or Telfair or Greatwood. But it's not gonna add a ton of time to your commute. The other thing I like is just as a master plan community, it has all the features and amenities that you're gonna want in a big master plan community. Clubhouse with fitness center, meeting rooms, resort style pools, local pools, got over 20 miles of walking trails, and over 200 acres worth of lakes with catch and release fishing and kayaking. And so again, you have tons of things to do. And the other thing I thought was interesting is they have a director of fun. So someone they've hired to help put on events throughout the year to really kind of help coordinate community and sense of community and events. So I thought that was kind of cool. And we're definitely seeing those in some other master plan communities that I've covered as well. So again, that definitely helps create a nice sense of community within Riverstone. So with all these great amenities comes, it comes at a cost. Your HOA fees are going to be higher, currently around $1,200 a year, which is par for the course for some of these other master plan communities. But then they also have a variety of other fees that you have to pay. There's a foundation called Your Community Foundation Committee, and it charges a fee for you when you go to sell your house of 1/4 of 1% of the sales price. So it's not as high as in Siena, which is 1/2 of 1%, but it still is an extra fee that you have to pay when you go to sell your home, and that is a seller cost. Now, when you go and buy a house, you have a capitalization fee of 1 full year's worth of HOA fees. So you have to pay $1,200 up front in addition to any prorated HOA fee that you'd have to pay. So a variety of extra costs that go into a master plan community like this that you definitely need to budget for. In regards to flooding, there were just a few houses that flooded during Hurricane Harvey. It's kind of the southwestern portion of Riverstone, and it was not widespread, but definitely something you need to know about. Otherwise, the rest of the community is in the 500-year levee protected floodplain. Taxes in Riverstone are generally better than in Siena. Most of them range between 2.4 to about 2.75%. All right, on to schools. So Riverstone has some phenomenal elementary and middle schools. You can see them here on the screen, but it is zoned to Elkins High School, which is rated a B. So you're definitely missing out on the A rating that many people desire to have on Clements and the prestige and the challenge that Clements presents, because it is quite arduous. Many of my friends and their kids that go to Clements find that college is rather easy for going through Clements High School and some of the AP classes. So definitely keep that in mind. So again, it's good school, but definitely not as rated as high as Clements High School. So that's it for the most popular and best neighborhoods in Sugar Land. Be sure to subscribe and like here. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you need help moving to Sugar Land, feel free to reach out. My number's here on the screen. I'd love to help you find a great house in this wonderful city. Also, if you'd like to learn more about Sugar Land, again, check out this video here where I go over the best neighborhoods to buy and build a brand new house in. Or if you want something a little more affordable, check out this video right here where I go over the best neighborhoods with most affordable homes. So thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it and wish you the best.